Mr. McLeod,
Contempt for what?
Mr. McLeod, two things are going to happen. You're going to answer my question, or you're going to jail for summary contempt for not complying with the court's request. Do you, Mr. McLeod, understand that the maximum penalty for the charge against you is 3 years in prison and or $1,000 fine?
I don't understand the charges.
Mr. McLeod is in contempt court taken into custody.
Really?
This courtroom hearing is chaos from the very first second until the final ruling. Mr. McLeod stands accused of assaulting a police officer, yet he boldly claims the court has zero authority over him. He launches into the familiar sovereign citizen routine, interrupting constantly, yelling over the judge, and inventing legal language that means absolutely nothing. The judge remains firm, shutting down every argument without losing control of the courtroom. As the exchange continues, tensions rise, patience runs out, and the situation grows increasingly heated. Eventually, the judge is left with no reasonable option but to send Mr. McLeod to jail for the night. The hearing becomes both irritating and entertaining to watch. His unshakable confidence in pure nonsense is unbelievable, and seeing the legal system methodically dismantle him is oddly satisfying. If you enjoy courtroom moments, subscribe for more intense content.
You understand your right to a lawyer, including a court-appointed lawyer?
I understand that.
Okay. And do you wish to represent yourself instead of having an attorney?
Yeah, I'm here by special appearance, and I will be representing myself.
Okay. I'm required by law before I accept that waiver to do a couple things. One, advise you of the maximum penalties that you could face for the charges that you're in my court for. Resisting, obstructing conservation officers is a high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years in prison and or $1,000 fine. There's a habitual offender second notice that's been filed by the prosecutor, which would make that a felony punishable by up to 3 years and or $1,000 fine. And marine safety operating while intoxicated is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days and or a $100 to $500 fine. Do you understand the maximum penalty?
The judge's composure in this moment is honestly remarkable.
Well, I don't even really understand
Even with
why.
constant interruptions and confusing arguments, he continues to give Mr. McLeod opportunity after opportunity to participate properly. Most judges would have shut this down much sooner, but here you can see a genuine effort to keep things fair and orderly to Mr. McLeod. On the other hand, keeps acting as if he doesn't understand simple legal questions, despite them being explained clearly. Whether that confusion is real or intentional is hard to tell, but it quickly becomes clear that the judge is dealing with more obstruction than misunderstanding. What's striking is how steady the judge remains while all of this is happening. He calmly walks through the process, sets clear expectations, and tries to guide the conversation back on track. Even as the situation drags on, his patience never turns into anger, just firm professionalism.
Well, okay. Well, that's fine. Do you understand the maximum penalty that I just explained to you?
No.
Hold on. I can't let you represent yourself until I establish a couple things.
Well, I need to establish a couple things too, honestly.
Hold on. Well, I can't let you represent yourself until I establish a couple things, or I'm going to be in trouble.
Okay.
Do you understand that the maximum penalty that you could face for the charges that you're here for is up to 3 years in prison and or a $1,000 fine?
I don't understand the nature and cause of the action against me. So
what is it that you don't understand? Do you not understand how long 3 years is, or how much the fine is that I've articulated? Can you tell me what it is you don't understand?
I don't understand the nature and cause of the action against me because we don't establish jurisdiction.
That's not what I'm asking you right now. Well, I'll let you place whatever objections you want on the record, Mr. McLeod. I promise you that. Okay. Can we just go one step at a time? So do you understand the maximum penalty that you could face if you're convicted as charged? 3 years in prison or $1,000 fine?
Well, I have another question because the statutory jurisdiction doesn't exist under the Constitution. So in order for me to defend myself, could you please tell me where the published rules of conduct are for criminal statutory jurisdiction, or where I can find the nature and cause of this jurisdiction, or how this information exists?
No, I don't even understand what you're asking.
So you're saying this is a statutory jurisdiction under what? The statutes of Michigan, correct?
Mr. McLeod, I've told you what my jurisdiction is.
General jurisdiction.
The people of the state of Michigan voted to convene a constitutional convention in 1961.
Sure.
There was a constitutional convention in 1961 and 1962. They proposed a state constitution. The voters of the state of Michigan ratified that in 1963. Article 6 establishes the judicial power. And the circuit court is a court under that judicial power of Article 6 of the state constitution. And so you're here in my court. I have subject matter jurisdiction over those crimes. I have personal jurisdiction over you because you've been alleged to have committed them in our county. That's my jurisdiction. So, Mr. McLeod, do you want to represent yourself? Do you understand the maximum penalty that you could face of 3 years in prison and or $1,000 fine?
1 second.
I can see why his attorney withdrew. Oh, shit.
Hang on. Someone in the prosecutor's office is not muted. I'm going to remove you from the meeting at this time.
Oh,
Prosecutor's office is generally allowed to attend to observe. They've participated. I'm removing.
It's hard to argue that her reaction didn't say exactly what everyone else was thinking. That moment felt completely unscripted, the kind of thing you can't plan, even in the most chaotic courtroom. The tension, the silence, and then that reaction, it was almost impossible not to laugh. Honestly, the real mystery is how the judge managed to stay composed, because the situation had crossed from serious into outright ridiculous. Courtrooms are usually controlled, predictable environments, which is why moments like this stand out so much. Maybe it was a split-second lapse. Maybe it was just the sheer nonsense of the argument finally breaking through the formal setting. Whatever the reason, it captured the mood of the room perfectly. Everyone seemed to be on the same page about what they were witnessing. When you look at the bigger picture, the attorney stepping away starts to make complete sense. Mr. McLeod appears convinced that the answer to all his problems is hidden somewhere in his paperwork. He keeps flipping pages, searching for some imaginary statute that will suddenly invalidate the entire case. The confidence he shows makes it seem like he truly believes he's moments away from outsmarting the entire legal system. At the same time, the people around him already know how this is going to play out. The judge isn't confused. The prosecutor isn't surprised. The outcome feels obvious to everyone except the one person who needs to understand it most. Instead of adjusting his approach, Mr. McLeod doubles down, acting as though he's uncovered some secret knowledge that the courts have somehow overlooked for decades. Watching this unfold raises a bigger question about sovereign citizens in general. What do they expect the final outcome to be? Do they imagine a dramatic reversal where the judge suddenly admits defeat and throws the case out entirely? The whole thing feels like watching someone argue rules from a completely different game, while insisting they're still winning. By the time the prosecutor makes her comment, it lands perfectly. It feels like a quiet acknowledgement of what everyone else is already thinking. What's most striking, though, is the unwavering commitment to these beliefs. Mr. McLeod's dedication to citing laws that don't exist and shuffling papers with absolute confidence is strangely captivating. It's frustrating, fascinating, and oddly entertaining all at once. And with that in mind, let's get back to the video.
Mr. McLeod, do you understand the maximum penalty that you could face?
1 second. Okay, so in enforcement of mere statutes, judges of all courts do not act judicially and are thus are not protected and qualified by limited immunity. That's Owen versus the city. I just want to state a few things for the record since you're claiming this is a jurisdiction under statutory law.
Hang on. Mr. McLeod, can we back it? Look at me for a second. Can we talk here?
I challenged subject matter jurisdiction and nothing can go forward until that's addressed. You're saying
I did address it and I denied your objection. I have subject matter
doesn't
jurisdiction.
exist under the Constitution.
Your objection is noted. So, Mr. McLeod, do you understand? Let me explain to you.
Sure.
Sometimes, as I said, people might want to represent themselves, but let's say they have limited intellectual capacity and they don't understand what's going on.
You can really tell the judge is completely done with this guy's nonsense at this point. It's not even savage anymore. It's just straight facts. The defendant is fumbling through papers, quoting made-up laws, and clearly has no idea what he's talking about. Meanwhile, the judge calmly shuts him down in the most professional way possible. There's no yelling, no insults, just clear logic and authority. You have to respect it. He calls out the nonsense exactly for what it is without raising his voice or breaking a sweat. Moments like this really remind you why judges hold so much power in the courtroom and why trying to outsmart the legal system almost never ends well.
I have to establish that they know what's going on before I can allow them to represent themselves. I'm required to establish, do you comprehend, do you know the maximum penalty that you could face if you're convicted as a result of this charge? 3 years in prison or $1,000 fine. Do you understand that, Mr. McLeod?
So I'd like to state for the record that
Mr. McLeod,
the
stop.
court can be,
Stop, Mr. McLeod. If you don't understand it, I'm going to revoke your right to represent yourself and have an attorney represent you because I can't establish that you know what you're doing. So do you know the maximum penalty that you would face?
I've challenged this court's jurisdiction. You haven't established it yet. You said you have a statutory jurisdiction which doesn't exist under the Constitution. I'm trying to figure out where I stand with this. So I can't answer any of your questions until you answer some of mine.
That's not how it works. Are you refusing to answer my question?
No, I'm
Then answer it. Do you understand the maximum penalty that you face for this charge?
So judges who become involved in enforcement of
Mr.
these
McLeod,
statutes.
I have other matters. Mr. McLeod,
Involved agency. What's that?
you know, I understand you want to object to things and you're going to be allowed to object to things. Okay.
Sure.
But we have to do things one step at a time. And I do have other cases today. I'm not going to entertain this for like a whole hour. I've got other cases going on. If you want to dig in your heels and just make this real complicated or real difficult, we could do that. And I can hold you in contempt and you'll go back to a jail cell for a while.
I don't wish to be held in contempt. I just wish to exercise my Sixth Amendment right.
That's fine.
And
So before I can let you under,
I can cite laws that will show you that the exercise of a right can be converted into a crime. I'm trying to understand the nature and cause of the action against me. You're not clarifying it enough to where I can comprehend it, as you say.
you comprehend the maximum penalty that you would face.
I'm not answering any of those questions until you establish that this is a court of the Constitution, has jurisdiction under these jurisdictions.
I established it. I told you. You might think I'm wrong and you can appeal.
There's no such thing as a statutory jurisdiction.
Mr. McLeod, let me make this simple for you. Do you ever watch, let me make this simple for you.
Sure.
I'm going to ask you this question one more time. One more time.
Okay.
Two things are going to happen. You are either going to answer my question or I'm going to hold you summarily in contempt and the court officer will bring you to a jail cell and we'll talk about it tomorrow. You understand that?
So,
Mr. McLeod,
Mr.
Mr. McLeod, two things are going to happen. You're going to answer my question or you're going to jail for summary contempt for not complying with the court's request. Do you, Mr. McLeod, understand that the maximum penalty for the charge against you is 3 years in prison and or $1,000 fine?
I don't understand the charges.
Mr. McLeod is in contempt of court, taken into custody.
Really? That's it. Protecting my rights is what you said last time. Sorry.
Fucking Joe.
This isn't true. You guys are following
Follow unconstitutional
you're following
orders.
unlawful orders. It's not constitutional at all.
Mr. McLeod's in contempt, he's sentenced to 1 day. Mr. McLeod, your sentence is 1 day in jail. We'll reconvene tomorrow and get you
This is
notice.
on the Constitution. I did nothing wrong except the question of excessive exercise.
This guy is honestly hard to watch. Seeing him try to act like his own lawyer when he clearly has no idea what he's doing is painfully embarrassing. It's one of those situations where you can't help but wonder why he didn't just hire an attorney. That's not just common sense. It's literally a constitutional right. Under the Sixth Amendment, he's entitled to legal representation. And if he truly couldn't afford one, the court would provide it. Instead of taking advantage of that, he's standing there shuffling through papers, confidently repeating arguments that have absolutely no value in an actual courtroom. You can tell the judge initially tried to give him some leeway. At the beginning, the judge was calm, patient, and clearly explained things in a way anyone could understand. But no matter how patient a judge is, there's always a limit, and eventually they have to shut this kind of behavior down. What really stands out is how confident this guy looks while completely humiliating himself. He genuinely seems to believe he's on the verge of uncovering some hidden legal loophole, as if he's about to outsmart the entire justice system. The reality, though, is far simpler. The law here isn't complicated. All he needs to do is answer basic questions with a yes or no. Instead, he avoids them entirely. This isn't a minor issue either. He's facing charges related to assaulting a police officer, which is a very serious offense and often classified as a felony. Given that he's potentially looking at a 3-year